Hi everyone, my name's Lisette and today I'm gonna show you how I make these delicious honey mustard marinated pork chops. Well, let me show you how I make the marinade first and then we'll get on to the rest of it. I am doing like 3 times the recipe. The recipe is for about 2 pounds of pork chops. I'm doing about 6. I don't measure a ton of things. I measure the salt. And I also mix the salt right into the marinade. So let me just start with that. It's going to be about 1 teaspoon per pound, a little bit less because you're adding some ingredients that are salty. So I just, don't fill it up full. So that's 2,
3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm just gonna do like another half because one of them's like almost 2.5 pounds. So I'm going to add some pepper. That was probably, I don't know, a teaspoon or 2 of pepper. I'm gonna add some garlic powder. You could use fresh garlic. I said this in some videos before, but just in case, you don't really watch my videos that often. My mom has like a garlic intolerance, but she can do a little bit of garlic powder. So I'm just gonna do 1 teaspoon of that. Some cayenne, to your preference, like how much you wanna do. So I'm gonna do about 1/2 teaspoon. I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of liquid aminos. You could use soy sauce. It's like basically exactly the same thing. And I'm not measuring exact because I don't think it makes that big of a difference. I just feel like if the salt is off, that could ruin your whole thing. So that's why I measure that. About 6 tablespoons of vinegar. It's supposed to be apple cider vinegar, but I didn't have that. So I'm just using this sweet vinegar and this is almost gone. So that's 3, 4. I'm just gonna use a little bit of white vinegar. Another. That's good. 3 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. I think that was 3. I forgot to count. Okay, and then I'm just using yellow mustard. You could use like a grainy mustard or a different kind of mustard, but this is what I'm using today. That's what I used the last few times and it turned out really good. So 3 of these also. Lastly, the honey. I don't use like the highest quality honey for this because when you cook, I'm cooking it at a high temperature and that cooks off a lot of like the benefits of honey. Anyway, this is a long rant that probably nobody cares about, but I don't buy expensive honey for something that's gonna be cooked at a high temperature. That's the point. And I need about 3/4 cup. We're at 2/3 cup. So to get to 3/4 cup, I'm gonna go to like 1 1/3, whatever. I'm gonna eyeball this. The thing that I always look for in a good marinade recipe is sweet, salty, acid, all of those combined, maybe a little spice in there. That is gonna make a really good marinade that's really flavorful. Okay, and then I'm just gonna slice the onion in like rings, and then I will cook these onions off and like kind of caramelize them to serve with the pork chops. I hate cutting on camera because I just think people are gonna be like, she's about to cut herself, and you might be right. Mind your business, people. You can't see, but I'm crying right now from the onions and your judgment that I feel. I'm gonna do like 1.5 onions here. Yeah. These knives, these McCook knives that I actually did an unboxing, so I'll link that, but they're really good knives. Okay, so these are like thin cut bone in, and then there's some thin cut no bone, and then there's some thicker cut, whatever you like to get. For some reason, I got 3 different kinds. The meat is a little bit frozen. I'm gonna just kind of layer this up in here, and then as best as I can to get the marinade and the onions kind of like around everything. Some of them are gonna be stuck together, so I'll probably in a couple hours mix them up to make sure that everything got on everything. But you want the marinade to really get on everything because that's where all the salt is. I'm going to start pouring this on. And I just kind of make sure it has a nice coating. Also with the marinade, if there's like a lot in the bottom of your pan after you cook them, after you have them all cooked, you can always cook off the marinade and kind of like use it like a sauce. I'm sure some people would rather just sprinkle the salt on the seasoning onto each pork chop, but I always do it this way, and everything comes out seasoned well. It's not like some pieces are missing salt, but I do make sure like I get the marinade around every piece. I gotta add the rest of my onions. Forgot about that. I'll probably check it in a few hours. I'm not gonna show that because I'm gonna be done over here for the day, but I'll mix everything up, make sure it's all coated nice and well, make sure it's well coated. Tomorrow, when it's time to cook them, I'm just gonna cook them on a cast iron skillet, so I'll show you some of that. And in this video, I'm not gonna show you a taste test because I'm actually making this for a real dinner. I mean, I always eat all the food, not me, by myself. And the food that I make in these videos always gets eaten, but it's not always actually for dinner that day. This time it is, so I'm not gonna do a taste test and everything because I'm gonna enjoy dinner with my family. But I'll show you kind of how I cook that and what I'm serving it with. At this point, the pork chops were probably marinating for about 18 hours, and maybe like 5 hours in, I mixed them up and made sure they were really all coated with the marinade. Again, that was only because mine were a little frozen when I started. If yours weren't frozen, you would just do that from the start and not worry about it until you took them out to cook them. So the first thing you're going to want to do is heat up a cast iron skillet and just coat it with some oil. I used avocado oil. After that's kind of heated through, you're going to add your pork chops in and cook them 2 to 5 minutes per side. That depends on the thickness of your pork chops. So like I said, I had a couple different cuts, so each batch kind of cooked a little differently, but you can tell when they're done. And if you can't, definitely get a meat thermometer and check it. It would need to hit 145 degrees. After you finish cooking all the meat, you can cook down the onions, and if there's any remaining sauce, you could cook that down too. This recipe in particular doesn't have a ton of remaining sauce, but you could cook that down with your onions and just make sure that comes to a boil and cook your onions down as much as you want. I forgot to show it, but I did serve this alongside some white rice and black beans and a salad, and it was really delicious with the pork chops. Everybody really enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you try this recipe out. It is really good. It's great on the cast iron like I made it, but it's also really good grilled outside. If you like grilling, this is a great recipe for grilling. If you have a favorite kind of way to make your pork chops, let me know in the comments below. I always like to hear how other people do it. It gives you some new inspiration to make something a little different or try something new. I love that. I could talk about food all day, so comment on my videos, please. I would love to chat with anyone about food. If you're not subscribed, I hope you subscribe for more videos like this, testing out recipes, tasting new foods, and learning tried and true recipes from me. I hope you guys have a great day wherever you are, and see you in the next video. I'm gonna let that marinate overnight. Oh my gosh, it's so windy outside. You could probably hear that. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's very windy and rainy. Okay. I gotta start over. Thank you.